Hey guys, welcome to Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily. In today's episode, I have some beautiful spring DIYs for you. Plus, it is a 5 under 5, which means I have 5 awesome spring DIYs that each cost $5 or less. If you like crafting, DIYs, dupes, hacks, thrift flips, or just creating in general, I would love if you would consider subscribing and becoming my crafting BFF. If you do like any of today's projects, remember to hit that thumbs up, but let's get right into the DIYs. This little pack of pots came from Dollar Tree, and you get 2 of them. They have these every springtime, so hopefully you can get your hands on some. They also sell them, at Walmart or anywhere where there's a greenhouse. I really feel like you can find some little pots, or if you have something on hand, definitely use that. So I just want to rough up this terracotta. Terracotta is beautiful the way that it is, but I really love kind of making it look aged or rustic. And so I'm just taking some white paint on a chip brush and just gently going around. What I did is I dipped the brush in the paint and dabbed it off onto like a baby wipe or a towel or something, and then just lightly went over all of the edges of those 2 pots there. And now I'm taking some reindeer moss. I love using reindeer moss for springtime because I feel like it really just brings that natural look in. And I'm taking a barbecue skewer here. This helps me for a couple of reasons. If you use hot glue, which I do, it's going to kind of help you from burning your fingers because that glue will seep through there. But I'm tucking it down into the pot. I kind of stacked these pots kind of skiwampus here. You can tell there where the other one is sticking out. You can see how I've done that here. And I want to be able to stick that moss like it's growing out from under there, almost like this was left out in your yard or your potting shed or something like all winter long, and it started to have some moss growing here, and you'll kind of see what we do at the top of it. I don't know, I like to come up with stories for my DIY sometimes to kind of help me come up with inspiration. But you can see I'll glue that, and I'm just taking that down over the edge on that particular piece right there, and you'll see here that I'll tuck the top of it down in, and then that was just a little extra there that I had to pull off there. But so that way it looks like the moss was kind of coming down over the pot. And now I'm just using a little bit of hot glue and some craft paper to stick in this top pot here because I want to fill up that space. You could use some styrofoam, but there really isn't a need to with what I'm doing. So now I'm moving on to step 2 of this DIY, and I'm going to make a cute little bird's nest to go on the top. Kind of like some birds saw this on your little potting table and they decided to come make a little nest and put their eggs there. So I'm just going to kind of manipulate this Spanish moss into a nest here. So I'm just kind of going around and I'm kind of just making it a circular shape, and I'm wanting to kind of make an indentation in the middle where like their eggs would go. Spanish moss can be really messy, so definitely make sure that you are prepared for that. Now, I saw a thing on Pinterest where somebody made a bird's nest and they used some kind of adhesive when they did it. I couldn't really think of anything I had besides Mod Podge. It ends up working okay, but you could definitely do a little research to see what other materials that you could use to do this. But it worked out okay, but you have to use a little bit. I just wanted to stop that Spanish moss from falling everywhere for one, but I also wanted to be able for it to hold its shape to kind of work with. So I'm just using it with a brush. You can see there's really no rhyme or reason to how I'm doing this. And your hands get very sticky. So you could wear gloves would be something. This is a learning process for me, and I was just kind of trying to see how it worked out, but it ends up looking really good, I think. So it just takes a little bit. As that Mod Podge is drying, it's starting to kind of take its shape and its form. And then I just use some hot glue to stick that down here onto that paper in the pot. And then I'm just using something that I can poke it down with and make sure that that little indentation in the center is there, so I can place some cute little eggs there. And then I'm just going to trim off any excess that I have there that I want to kind of make it look kind of uniform, but it's a bird's nest, so there's no uniformity at all to that, but I just trim around the edges there, as you can see, like I'm doing. And then I even put more Mod Podge on it, and this is because it's set, it's where I want it, and hopefully that helps it stay in place. Now, if you don't want to go to all that process, I'm just showing you an option there with a different bird's nest. You can find those at Hobby Lobby, JoAnns, maybe even Dollar Tree. You can find all things like that, so you don't have to go through the process of making a nest if you don't want to. And then I just have a couple of little eggs there that I thought were super cute, and I just decided to stick those down in there. You can glue those in. Mine had some little like toothpicks on there that kind of stuck all the way down into there, and so they're pretty secure. And then I thought it would be really cute to take some reindeer moss and kind of add it to the nest or around the eggs, like a little bit more moss is growing around here. The birds grabbed that to help make their nest, and I just thought it turned out really cute. And you can see I'm just even tucking some of the moss inside of that, the reindeer moss inside of the Spanish moss. We've got several types of moss going on here, but I really thought that that kind of brightened up that nest a little bit with that. You guys, I think this turns out so cute. I love my little story behind it. Like, it was just kind of something natural that happened in your garden. But I just think this is so cute. And I mean, this is the epitome of springtime to me. I just think this turned out darling. What do you guys think of this one? I am so excited to be back this month with the 5 Under 5 DIY challenge. Our theme this month is springtime DIYs. And basically, if you're new here or if you're returning, just as a reminder, the 5 Under 5 DIY challenge is where we are challenged with a theme to come up with 5 different DIYs under that theme, and each of the DIYs have to cost $5 or less. I host this every month with my really good friend Missi from the Crafty Cove, and this month our guest host is Kendra from Late Night Creations. I'm going to leave a link to both of their channels down in my description box, as well as a link to the playlist, and there are so many other talented creators that participate in this every month, and they all will have 5 springtime DIYs that cost $5 or less for you. We do this every month on the 5th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and it is so much fun. So remember to click that link down in my description box after my video, and it will take you right over to the playlist. Let's get right back into the DIYs. This is a great project to use for these tag signs that you can get at Dollar Tree. Really, you can use any shape to do this. This is also one of these little like removable wallpaper sheets, sticker sheets that you can get at Dollar Tree. At my Dollar Tree, they're in the section where like the stencils and things are like that. Now I'm just going to sand off the glitter from the front of this sign because I don't want that texture there. And then I just kind of wipe it down with a baby wipe, and I'm just going to peel back this paper from this cute wood design. Now you could even use like an actual piece of wood for this if you wanted to. I want to make like a little floral pocket. You'll kind of see what I mean by that as we go here. And I line this up as best as I can on the edge, but I'm gonna use my little X-Acto knife to kind of cut it out and make sure that we get all of the edges nice and clear. You can kind of see, I'll just do that on the edge here to make sure that it comes right to the edge, and then just peel that back. Now I wanted to save as much of this paper as I can, because if you guys know anything about crafting or me or anything, I'm like, oh, I can use this. There's enough that I should be able to use it. I don't know if I'm ever going to use this amount, but man, I saved it. So that way, if I need something that small or something, I've got that little bit left. So now I'm just taking some burlap. I had this on hand from a project that I did at Christmas time, but any kind of fabric. I know they have that darling farmhouse fabric from Dollar Tree that would be perfect for this, or just some scrap material that you have. The burlap does look really cute, so if that's something that you have on hand, but I mean, definitely don't feel like you have to run out and buy burlap. Use your imagination or what you can come up with here. Even like a dish towel, like with a cute farmhouse design or something on there. But I'm just hot gluing the top. I want this to look like it's kind of rolled down, like almost like a burlap sack that something's planted in. Like sometimes you'll get flowers in that. That was kind of my thought of what I was going for here. And so I'm just putting this hot glue down after I have it folded over, and I want to kind of create some creases. But just be careful because hot glue seeps through the burlap and can kind of burn you. So make sure that if you have like some finger protectors, or just know that, or if you want to use popsicle sticks or something. But it came through and kind of caught me off guard a little bit for some reason. But anyway, so I just put some glue around 3 of the edges there. So obviously you want that top edge that we folded down to be open, because that's our pocket. We're going to be tucking some flowers down in this. So I'm just going around and making sure that that's all fixed how I want it to. Now these are just some half beads. This would be optional, but this kind of helps make it look like this is what's adhered the burlap to your sign base there. So these were just a natural color of wood. You could leave them, paint them any color, make them look like metal, whatever you would like to do, buttons or anything. I mean, you definitely use your imagination. These just came from Amazon. And I just did them with the antique wax, and then I touched them a little bit with some white paint with a chip brush just to kind of brighten them up a little bit. And then I spaced them out as best as I could and just used hot glue to stick them on. So now, since this sign, it's a hanging sign here, and so I just took some thicker twine that I have, and I'm just sticking that through, and I'm tying the knot on the front of the sign because I thought that would look really cute to have that just on the front there. So now comes the fun part of getting to actually embellish this with all of the flowers. So I'm taking just a bunch of different random flowers that I have. Most of them come from Dollar Tree. I thought these little dahlias here is that pinky peach color. I thought they were so pretty, and so I definitely wanted that to bring a little bit of color into my home for springtime. And then there's this grass that I have here that I just am cutting and sticking that in the background there. You guys, I've said this several times, but I have no formal training whatsoever in floral arranging or anything. I just do what looks good and feels good. And so, if it's something that maybe isn't what catches your eye, then just go with whatever feels right to you when you're doing it. So I have these just tons of different florals. This little boxwood right here that I'm going to use, these came from Walmart, and you get actually a pretty decent size sprig of it for just a couple of dollars, and a little goes a long way, and I've absolutely loved it. So if you happen to get into Walmart, check their floral section and look specifically for that boxwood because it's just awesome. Now this grass in the background, I was not liking how it was so straight. It looked a little too uniform to me. So, I don't really know what I would call this technique, but I guess I'm like crinkling it up here to kind of give it maybe, I don't know, I just wanted it to look a little more messy, I guess. Now, I do know in floral arranging, a lot of times they do odd numbers in the main focal point. So I thought that I would do a third dahlia on there. I don't know. Do you guys think I should have left it at 2? I thought it looked kind of cute with 3, but I have these little placeholder. This came from Hobby Lobby in their spring section, so they're 40% off right now. But I just thought it would be really cute to kind of have this little chalkboard sign on the front of it. So I just wrote spring. You guys can see that my handwriting is, it's okay. If you have a Cricut or something, you could definitely use that. But I thought it would be fun to be able to change it up for different seasons or different things on there. And then I just had this little burlap bow I thought would be cute on there to kind of do that. So I just used some hot glue to get that. And I'm really trying to decide if I want that third flower in there or not. But ultimately, I leave it, and I think it turns out really cute. You guys, what do you think of this? I love these little pocket signs like this. It's something that's so versatile because you really could change it up for different seasons. But I just think this one turned out so cute. What do you guys think? Is this something that you guys would try? I have these cute little seed pots. They're kind of what you use when you're starting seeds in your house before you take them outside to plant. So perfect for springtime if you see these anywhere where you find your seeds or anything like that at your seed stores or wherever, greenhouses, pick some up because they're kind of fun to do some crafts with. So they have this beautiful texture to them, and so I'm like a real natural feel. So I'm just taking a chip brush with some white paint, and I go over each of them to kind of bring out that texture so you can really see it there. And then I'm just going to take some styrofoam, and I'm just going to use my putty knife here to cut that. I find that is the easiest to cut it, and I'm just cutting 3 little areas there to stick down in each of the pots. I do kind of roll it on my table to give it a little rounded shape you can see in there so it fits in really nice. Now I'm going to take some cardboard. This is just off of, an Amazon box here, and I'm just going to trace each of these, well, just 3, not each of them, but I'm tracing 3 so that way I can cut 3 circles out. And I will use a screwdriver to kind of poke a hole in the middle of each of these. And what I'm doing here is I want a flat surface to be flush with the top of the pot. So, and you'll see why here because we're going to put some stuff on it. And so I just the nice thing with these pots is since it's kind of that natural material, you can kind of manipulate it to fit those in. Now I'm just taking some white flowers that I have. This is something that was in my stash, and I want to say I either got it at Hobby Lobby or Walmart, but definitely Dollar Tree has such beautiful florals. If you are anything like a crafter like myself, you probably have a good stash of florals already that you can pull from, but anything's going to look really cute doing this, and you can even change it up for different seasons if you wanted to. It would be really easy to pull out those flowers and stick something else in to change them. So now what I'm doing with that cardboard space is I'm just using some hot glue and some reindeer moss. And I just picked this reindeer moss up at Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue and then push down that reindeer moss all the way around each of these where that cardboard area that we cut out is. And I use a barbecue skewer to help me so that way I don't burn my fingers, and I can also get it pushed down in any like nooks and crannies, if you will, that it needs to be done. So you can kind of see here, I'll place down that little bit of reindeer moss and then just push it down with that barbecue skewer. I love how these turn out. I love the natural feel and the natural vibe that they're giving here. They're going to be beautiful in my home and definitely bring that touch of spring. Is this something that you guys would try, or do you like this? Let me know down in the comments. This is such a fun, easy project here. I have this, I got it at Hobby Lobby. You can see it was like $2.99 that I got, and I'm just removing the sticker off of the front here. I removed it off the back as well. And this is a great sign for what it is, but we're going to change it up. I love looking through the clearance section at Hobby Lobby or even Walmart to find signs that are on sale that maybe weren't so popular or left behind, because as a crafter, I love to change things up and repurpose them and use them for my own. And so I'm just using a fingernail file. I love using a fingernail file in my crafting to sand. I can manipulate it really well. I just really love using those. So I sand off all of the words. Now I'm showing you there, this is from Dollar Tree right here, and you could definitely use this. I have something else in mind for it, or else I probably would have used that. So if you see those at Dollar Tree, pick them up, and that way you can continue on with the project very easily. So now I'm just taking some white chalk paint, and I'm just going to cover up that area that I sanded. We're going to put something over the top of this, so you're not really going to see it, but I just wanted to make sure it was kind of uniform. Now, this is from the Dollar Tree calendars from this year, and it's from the February page, and this is the farmer's market, and you can see here this one I couldn't use the front because the words were a little too long for my thing. You can see the front says farmer's market, the actual page says garden on there. Look at these cute. I'm so excited to use this calendar in so many different projects. So I kind of used my thumbnail. You can kind of see the indentation. I laid that on my sign and kind of did that around the edges. So I had a template of where to cut. Now the front page, if you can use on your surface, is a little bit thicker. And so just to let you guys know when you do your crafting, but it had that words on the bottom of it that said like 2023 calendar or something. I don't want that on my DIY. So that's why I'm using the actual page here, but I just think this is so beautiful. Now I'm just using some Elmer school glue. You guys know that this is like my best friend with crafting. I have, and it's particularly this purple Elmer school glue. I never have any problem with it peeling up, especially if you, like on a paper project like this, if you seal it at the end with some spray clear coat or Mod Podge or something like that. But I really find that I have a lot less wrinkling than I do with Mod Podge. Mod Podge and me sometimes get along, sometimes we don't. And I really feel like I always get along with this school glue here. So I glued the surface there, put it all over, and then I just do the edges of the paper as well, because I want that double bond, and I want to make sure that you get all of the edges, because that way when you place this on, it's not going to peel up. So I'm just checking the back to make sure I have it set correctly, because it's got a little stand on it. I didn't want to do it upside down because I'm notorious for doing stuff like that and having to redo it. So I'm just carefully lining up the edges here, and then I'm working from the center out to help push this down and alleviate or eliminate any wrinkles that you might have. And you can kind of see I'm rubbing some if I start to get any wrinkles, and just very lightly push this out. And depending on how thick your paper is you just don't want it to tear or anything like that. Now I do have this Mod Podge roller here. I'll link that down in my description box. I love this thing, and it really helps just kind of get a really good bond between that paper and the surface that you're working with. And then I did just pull my little Cricut scraper out. You can find these at Dollar Tree now. They're really, it's not the Cricut brand, it's a Dollar Tree brand, but I mean, it works just the same. And I just kind of help flatten that out. Now I'm taking this little stencil brush, and I just kind of dipped it in some white paint, and I'm just kind of going to make this look a little more aged than it looked. Completely optional, completely a matter of personal preference. I just feel like sometimes it takes a sheen off of the paper, so it doesn't look super glossy, so it looks kind of more I don't know, less like a calendar page and more like a piece of art, I guess. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, but I just love how this turns out, and I think it is so cute. It was so simple, so inexpensive, and Dollar Tree has some really great pictures. So hopefully you can find some of these calendars or use this idea from maybe an older calendar that you have from last year. It's such a fun project and so perfect for springtime. Are you guys on Instagram? If you are, I would love if you would come and find me. I am Farm Charm Chic over there. I'll leave a link down in my description box so you can easily find me. But come and see what I'm working on. I post there quite a bit. I like to show you things that I'm working on or when I have videos ready. It's just another place to stay in touch. So if you do come find me, remember to send me a DM and say hi, because I do love meeting new friends. This project is so fun, and it really does scream springtime or just that fresh garden vibe. So you can use any kind of bucket or planter that you have. That was just one. It came from IKEA, but I did pick it up at a yard sale. And then this little bundle of, these are grapevine wreaths, and I honestly think they're supposed to be together like this. It was $3.99 from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to cut them apart, and I'm just going to use one of them because I thought it looked a little too thick, and I don't really know that these were intended to be cut apart like this, but there's no reason you couldn't do that. So then you get two projects out of it. And then I'm just taking some floral foam here, and I'm just going to cut this. I just use my putty knife to cut that fairly easily, and I'm just shoving some craft paper down there so that will kind of help the foam stick up a little bit there, so it'll be flush with the top of the pail. And I just stick all that foam in so that way I have a good surface to work with. Now I'm taking some Spanish moss, and I'm just going to glue around all of the edges here. I just put a little hot glue down. I grab that Spanish moss just in little clumps there, and I just kind of put it around. Be careful when you're pushing that down because the glue does seep up through that, and you can really burn yourself, which, you know, I may or may not be speaking from experience here. But I'm just gluing all of this all the way around, and you don't necessarily have to use Spanish moss if that's something that it's too messy for you or you don't love it. I mean, you could use some reindeer moss if you wanted. There's definitely different options that you have here. Now I do go around and just trim the edges here because I want kind of a cleaner look. Maybe not super clean, but it was kind of getting a little squirrely and out there. Now I'm taking some of my fencing wire. This is just wire that we had from our farm that we use when we fix our fences and everything. And I'm just cutting a little piece of it and making like a hook. Kind of like when you're putting flowers, I don't know, at the cemetery on Memorial Day and you take your wire hangers. Do you guys remember doing that to help the flowers stay in the ground? I just remember doing that a lot with my grandparents when I was younger. So I'm just folding these little wires over, making little hooks, and that's going to stick down into that floral foam that we have there. Or I guess it's just styrofoam, not floral foam. And it's just going to make that little wreath stand up there in your pail. Now I have this is from a project I did last year that I pulled out the greenery, and then this is Dollar Tree greenery right here that I'm showing you. So this is just like a vine that I got from Dollar Tree. But when I stuck this one up that I took it out of another project that I did. I really liked the way this one looked. So I'm just going to cut a couple of sprigs off of it. But really, Walmart has like beautiful boxwood or eucalyptus that would work that you can get for like 97 cents a sprig. So you definitely, I mean, if you wanted to use flowers or something to do this, you could. But I'm just taking the two sprigs and I'm sticking it down in, so one kind of goes off one direction and the other goes off the other. So it's going to try to look like it's growing up around the wreath, kind of like a vine. So I just kind of will not really break, but kind of pull apart some of the grapevine and stick some of the little greenery through it. That's what's going to help it look like this greenery is growing around the wreath there. Now I happen to have this little nest in my stash here, and this would be completely optional, but I really did feel like this drove home the springtime feel. I love how clean it looks like and looks without it as well. So I mean, it's something you could easily remove if you didn't want that there, but I'm just making a little hook there with the wire and just to kind of help get it into place there. And I'm going to show you guys what it looks like with it and without it, and you can tell me which one you like the best. But I really just think this is so beautiful. I've seen these in the craft stores or in boutiques or anything like that. I've seen these go for like $30-$40, maybe even more than that. But I really just think that this looks so pretty and so natural that it would be beautiful in any space. What do you guys think of this one? Thank you so much for joining me. I had such a great time coming up with these spring DIYs. Did you happen to have a favorite, or did one stand out to you? I would love to know which one. Also, down in my description box is going to be a link to the 5 Under 5 playlist. You'll be able to click on that and it will take you right over to the playlist where all of these wonderfully talented creators have made spring DIYs for you that each cost less than $5. I would also like to thank Kendra from Late Night Creations for guest hosting with us this month. I'll leave a link to her channel down in my description box as well. And I also would like to thank all of the other wonderful creators that participated this month. You guys, I hope that you have fun making your DIYs and that you got some inspiration today. I'll see you next time. Happy crafting! If you liked the video that you just saw and you want to keep crafting together, here's another video that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.